Let's go ahead and look at the fourth commandment now. The fourth commandment now. I wish I had my PowerPoint because I really fixed up a nice PowerPoint. Really, it was really nice. And I had spent all that time on it. That's what really gets to me. But anyway, the fourth commandment now. Christians have continued the weekly cycle, 6 days for work, 1 day for worship. But over the years, this has come along with noticeable changes. Similarities are the result of being a moral law which doesn't end. And, before, I want to try to hurry up and clarify that before somebody says, well, you're getting into legalism. No, we're not being legalistic. Too many people confuse morality and moralism with legalism. I believe as a child of God, there's a certain moral standard we have to meet. And that doesn't put you over into legalism because you're meeting a moral standard. But the similarities are the result of it being a moral law which does not end. Meanwhile, the changes result from, again, we talked about the shadowy aspects of the law, the shadowy ceremonial aspects of the law, which have ended. Those things have ended. Again, Jesus didn't come to abolish the law, he came to fulfill it. So with the sacrificial death of Christ, the ceremonial law came to a conclusion. We no longer have to go to take an animal to a priest and have it slain because Jesus' sacrifice was once and for all. And so that this commandment wasn't restated in the New Testament. Some of the Sabbath principles still apply. Okay? The principles of that Sabbath rest still apply. But Christians are not under Sabbath laws. Does that make sense? Sabbath principles have changed. There are some notable differences, and this is we won't get much further than this afternoon in looking at these Sabbath principles that have changed. But there are some notable differences in worship since the time of the apostles, of the first apostles, the early apostles. I don't like to use that term, time of the apostles, because I still believe that God raised up apostles. And I know people want to get real theological. They want to get real dispensational on you. But I still believe from the book of Ephesians we can derive the point that the days of the apostles are not over with. But since the days of the early apostles, or first apostles, I'll put it that way, there has been some changes. And Christians have gathered for worship on the first day of the week, Sunday, the day of the Lord's resurrection, instead of on the seventh day, which was Saturday in the the Jewish Sabbath, the old law. Acts 20:7 says this: now on the first day of the week, well, the first day of the week is Sunday. It was then, it is now. On the first day of the week, when the disciples came together to break bread, Paul, ready to depart the next day, spoke to them and continued his message until midnight. Now, how about that? Now, that's when Paul preached 8, 10, or 12 hours. That's when the guy he fell asleep on Paul, which should warn everybody, don't fall asleep on the preacher. He fell asleep, fell out of a window, and broke his neck. And Paul went out, stopped his preaching, went out, laid hands on the guy, prayed for him, got him back up, went back to preaching. Now, you fall asleep on me and break your neck, don't. I might stop my preaching, but whether we're going to be able to bring you back or not, that might remain to be seen. But anyway, that's what happened. But it was on the first day of the week. That's really what I need to be focusing on, the first day of the week. In 1 Corinthians 16, verse 1 and 2, now concerning the collection for the saints, Paul says, as I have given orders to the churches of Galatia, so you must do also. Verse 2 says, on the first day of the week, let each one of you lay something aside, storing up as he may prosper, and there be no collections when I come. So he emphasizes in those two verses the first day of the week. Now, in commemorating the day when Christ rose from the dead and he appeared to his disciples, then the same day at evening, and this is Acts chapter 2. Yeah, I think it is. I didn't write the reference time, but it's Acts chapter 2. Then the same day at evening, being the first day of the week, when the doors were shut where the disciples were assembled for fear of the Jews, Jesus came and stood in the midst and said to them, wait a minute. Yeah, okay, that's right. And said to them, peace be with you. So Sunday has been identified as the Lord's Day. That's what we call it now, the Lord's Day. Have a great Lord's Day. In Revelation 1:10, John says this, I was in the Spirit on the Lord's Day. So this was a Sunday that John was referring to when this took place. And I heard behind me a loud voice as of a trumpet. So he began to hear and see these things, this revelation that Jesus was revealing to him on the Lord's Day. And he says, I was in the Spirit on the Lord's Day. Well, shouldn't we all be in the Spirit on the Lord's Day? We should be in the Spirit every day, really. But certainly on the Lord's Day, we should have the attitude of heart to be in the Spirit, because it's in the Spirit that God's going to talk to us, speak to us, reveal some things to us. B.B. Warfield said this. I even posted this on Facebook. I thought it was so good. Christ took the Sabbath into the grave with him and brought the Lord's Day out of the grave with him on the resurrection morn. I like that.